Hey everyone, it's Marianne from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. We're going to start a series of short little videos with candidates for office. We want you to get to know the people who are running for elected positions in the city of New York. We're going to ask them about the three issues that retirees face today, and we want to know what their positions are on them. Some will know a little bit more about them than others, but they are the three questions we're going to ask each and every candidate. One, of course, the one that everyone should know, is about Medicare and Medicare Advantage. And we want to make sure that a retiree doesn't get forced into Medicare Advantage plans. And we want to make sure that a retiree has the ability to stay on traditional Medicare with Medicare B in their supplement. That is very important. The second issue is that while the law that the city currently has, 12-126, requires that the city pay for our Medicare B premium, we want to make sure that the city elected understand that today, while we do get that reimbursement, it doesn't come for like 16 to 18 months. And many of us on small pensions, fixed incomes, that is a burden and that it needs to go back to where we were paid either monthly or quarterly, more timely. And then the third issue is that retirees carry their health benefits for their family. And when they die, that their family loses their health care that same day. We are looking for a policy that would allow the family to go through the grieving process, but also provide time that they can access healthcare on the marketplace. So those are your three issues. Traditional Medicare, B with a supplement, not being forced into Medicare Advantage, getting your Medicare B reimbursement sooner, and a better timeline in being able to secure healthcare benefits after the retiree passes away. And today we are going to meet with Jim Walden, who is not a politician, but an independent thinker who wants to be mayor of the city of New York, and he supports New York City retirees. Let's hear from Jim. Today, we are talking with Jim Walden, who is a candidate for New York City mayor. Today, we're going to ask Jim why he wants to be mayor and what he can do for New York City retirees. Hi, Jim. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for be willing to talk to us about our issues. So our issues are actually quite known to you. Your law firm, Walden, Mock, Harron, and Williams, is actually one of the law firms representing New York City retirees and protecting their access to traditional Medicare and our senior supplement. So when we had a conversation originally, we were talking about protecting retirees and the three issues that are utmost importance to us. And those issues are protecting our access to traditional Medicare with our supplement, not being forced into Medicare Advantage, getting our Medicare B reimbursement back sooner. And the third has to do with when we pass as the retiree, our health insurance passes with us. Right now, there is no buffer period. So how would you, if you were mayor, be able to help us address those three issues?
Well, I would make sure that they got resolved fairly, which is giving retirees what they worked for, what they were promised, and without retrading it with inferior health care. I mean, you guys should not be forced on Medicare Advantage. My firm has been crystal clear about that. We won 11 victories in a row for you. We beat the pants off of Mayor Adams. And none of the other candidates in the race care about this issue at all, let alone have fought harder for retirees than us. On the other two issues, again, it just comes back to simple fairness. You shouldn't have to wait 16, 18 months for your reimbursement. That should be done monthly, and if not monthly, at least quarterly. It just doesn't make sense to have people that are already struggling have to wait that long for their reimbursements. And the spousal benefits one is the one that drives me, I think, to distraction the most, which is it's crazy to think that after a lifetime of service to the city, if I were to die, that my wife would then have no health care at all. So there has got to be, a long transition period at a minimum, if not some sort of program that allows for the spouse to continue health care. So these
Totally
issues
agree.
are simple and straightforward to me. Just do the right thing.
Fairness and humanity. So, what makes you want to be the mayor of the city of New York, Jim?
So I've sat here and watched for years and years and years as terrible candidates get passed through the machine. We looking backwards, obviously Adams has been a complete disaster. The people that he picks to run most of his commissions are highly ethically challenged, if not downright criminals. There's now a new scandal in the NYPD with the senior brass having been captaining, if you will, a system where women get victimized in trading sex for overtime or promotions. It's just disgusting. De Blasio went through a 4.5 year investigation for reaching into city agencies to get favors done for his friends and campaign contributors. So that's just in the last 10 years. The last mayor that we had, Michael Bloomberg, did a lot of good things, but he closed too many hospitals, he closed too many schools, he closed too many firehouses, and he wasn't fair to labor. And so even he had serious deficiencies. So I want to be mayor of the city of New York because I can do a better job. I don't believe in the false choices that these career politicians keep offering. In my view, very, very few of them even want the job that they have. They just want to get to higher office and higher office. That's not who I am. I want to do a great job for the city of New York. I want to get past all these false choices and I want to solve problems. That's the main thing. And I can do that because I have a 23-year track record of fighting for New Yorkers as a private lawyer. And I did that just by choice. And then a 10-year career before that fighting for New Yorkers as a federal prosecutor.
That's fantastic. So, what makes you think you're going to be able to win in this very crowded, crazy field that we have today?
Well, the crazy crowded field is in the Democratic Party, and we've seen really quality candidates get chewed up in the Democratic machine time after time. I saw Sean Donovan, Ray McGuire, Kathy Garcia. They listened to their campaign staff and they said, you can't run in the city unless you're a Democrat. Well, what about Rudy Giuliani? What about Michael Bloomberg? What about the candidates before them that were independent as well? It can be done in the city because New Yorkers want whoever their elected official is to deal with the bread and butter issues that matter to them. They want affordability, they want housing, they want safety, they want quality education. We have very few of that right now, and many of those systems are going downhill. And the migrant crisis has made it even worse. And despite what Mayor Adams is saying right now, I want to remind people that I went to the administration with a litigation plan to slow those buses down until there was meaningful planning. And they said they didn't want to do it because they didn't want to be anti-migrant. So they had an off-ramp where they could have slowed or stopped those buses, and they chose not to do it. I'm going to act boldly in the face of crisis, and I'm going to come up with real solutions, and I'm going to protect people, whether they're regular citizens, whether they're women in city agencies, whether or not they're people at the margins of our society, the mentally ill on the street. I have a plan for each of these communities, and I'm going to execute it well.
That's great to hear. So, what makes you different than the other candidates? Well, who is Jim Walden?
Right. Well, Jim Walden's a guy that grew up on at the very bottom of the ladder. I grew up in a failing steel town. My father lost his job. I stood in benefit lines. I didn't have a place to live when I had to leave home because my dad was a profound alcoholic and I couldn't take it anymore. And so I left and slept on a floor for a year so that I wouldn't be homeless. And I worked odd
Wow.
jobs in order to just save enough money to get to college. And then I worked hard. I mean, I worked hard at college. I worked hard in law school. You don't graduate first in your class, just by gliding by. Uh,
No.
and then I had, my dream job at the time, which was being a federal prosecutor. And I didn't choose to just do the easy white collar cases. I went after the mob and I kicked the crap out of them for 10 years. So what makes me different is that I have the passion, the drive, the experience to do the job now. And I'm committing to people something that none of the other candidates will say, which is this is my only job in politics. After this, I'm coming back to the private sector to a firm that I built from just a handful of people into now a litigation juggernaut. I want to do this job because I want to get New York back on track. I want to make fair policies. I'm not going to be a partisan. There are some issues where I'm to the left of center, some issues where I'm to the right of center, and I'm going to judge each issue according to its merit and not worry about whether I'm pissing off other politicians.
I like that. Well, Jim, thank you very much. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
I love retirees. My grandparents struggled when they were in their retirement, and so the fight that we've waged for you is really a fight for them too. So thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Jim. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.